Hello, I'm Beth Bales, and I'm the Testing Allegations Coordinator in the Office of Legal Services for the Kentucky Department of Education. It is my pleasure today to speak with you by video to help you through the process of filing test allegations in the Caveon core system. And I hope to include this as part of the back to school training that OAA is putting together for the upcoming 2023-2024 school year. Testing allegations are investigated by KDE staff, and it comes through my office. The investigations require documentation of the incident to be submitted and can include interviews and visits to schools to talk with staff and occasionally students. The online program for filing testing allegations and uploading necessary documents is Caveon Core. District assessment coordinators who have not already created IDs on Caveon Core will need to do so, preferably before testing begins. On the KDE allegation reporting webpage, there is a written description of the process of setting up a Caveon ID, and there's also a video that goes through that process. Here's a screenshot of the KDE allegation reporting webpage, and you'll just navigate there from the main KDE webpage going into assessment and accountability, assessment support, and then allegation reporting. If you look over to the right side of the screen, you will see a gray box, and there it has links below that are the list of written directions for setting up a Caveon ID, as well as a video explaining the process. The most important things I can say about this process are please try to set up the Caveon ID before testing begins. That way we can get all the kinks worked out if there are any kinks. Also, please provide a valid telephone number and enable two-factor authentication during the setup process. Otherwise, you will not be able to log into the Secure Investigation Hub, and that's where you have to be to actually file the testing allegation incidents reports. If after reading the directions on this webpage and watching the video and following all those steps, you're still unable to set up the Caveon ID or log into the Secure Investigation Hub, please send me an email or email Caveon support at support@caveon.com and CC me on the email and let them know what problems you're encountering. You may wonder what types of incidents warrant filing a testing allegation report. And I know there's been some mixed information given in the past about certain types of incidents that don't need to be reported. However, the best practice is to go ahead and report allegations on Caveon Core for all violations that occur, whether it's of the administration code regulation or the inclusion of special populations regulation. And so you will just go ahead and file those on Caveon Core. And also remember that the vast majority of the allegations that are filed are inadvertent errors that occur during the normal course of testing. And then there are a few that are more serious violations. Some of the most common examples that we have of testing allegations that are filed are providing inappropriate assistance to students during testing, failing to actively monitor students during test sessions, failing to maintain security of test materials, either not being attended by trained testing staff or not being kept in double lock storage when not attended by trained testing staff, providing resources to students other than the authorized test materials, administering content tests out of the scheduled order, failing to provide an accommodation per a student's IEP 504 plan or PSP, providing an accommodation not listed in a student's IEP 504 plan or PSP, giving a student the wrong test ticket, usually another student's assigned test ticket, and so on. After you've set up your Caveon ID and logged into the Secure Investigation Hub, you should have a dashboard, and most likely your dashboard may look different than mine. But here's a screenshot of my empty dashboard, not looking at any particular year's allegations. If you look at the upper right corner, there is a green button that says New Incident. And so that is the button that you're going to click to create an allegation incident report in Caveon Core. After you click on the button to create a new incident report, it will take you to a page that looks like this. And at the top it says, this section is for the DAC to complete. Please complete all fields in the DAC to complete section and then submit for KDE review. You most likely, as the district assessment coordinator, will not have to select a zone or district. However, if I file a new testing incident report, I have to select that. So that's why that shows over at the left-hand side. Here you see a blank page of what the incident report looks like that you are going to be completing. Okay, so I'll just take a moment to go through this. I filed this out with fake information just for the purpose of this video. The testing year, you'll have a drop-down box, and so you may just have one to choose from. This is the 2022-2023 testing year, which just ended this past spring. The date reported, that should be the date that the incident was reported to you, the district assessment coordinator. The district name will come from a drop-down box. The first one alphabetically is Adair County, so that's the one that I chose here for purposes of this video. Once you select the district, then it will generate another box with a drop-down menu. In this example, it would list all of the schools in Adair County. However, for your district, it should list all the schools in your district. If for any reason one of your schools is not listed, please send me an email at beth.bales@education.ky.gov, and we will get that straightened out and added to the form. The school principal name, that's information that you will need to obtain and type in. Here, a fake name, John Doe. The assessment, and it does say assessments that you could enter more than one. However, I can't really imagine a testing allegation that would involve more than one assessment. Here, I just entered the Kentucky Summative Assessment since that's the most prevalent exam that we deal with. And just scrolling down the page, the next question is test mode. You're going to select either online or CBT for computer-based testing or paper and pencil. Next will be the grade or grades that were involved in this particular incident. Here, I just selected 8. Next is content area or areas, and I selected reading/language arts and mathematics. Normally it would just be 1, but sometimes it is more than 1. The issue code. There are 7 possible choices here, and please don't stress about this because when I read the description, I know which code I would assign to it, which may or may not be the same code that you've assigned to it. Some of these are kind of a judgment call as to which category you think it best fits into. Here I chose category number 7, which is the other. Down below that, categorization of person identified in complaint. It's either going to be a certified educator or a classified employee. If it's a certified educator, you're asked to provide 2 pieces of information if you have those. The most important information to include here is the person's name, and this is the person that you feel was responsible for the particular violation, whether it's the test administrator, the BAC, or some other staff member. And if you also have, in addition to the person's name, either their EPSB ID or the certification number, you can enter those here as well, and that will be helpful. But always put the person's name here. Here, another fake name I entered is Jane Doe. The allegation source is the person who tells you, the district assessment coordinator, about the incident. In most cases, it's the BAC. which is what I chose here. However, it could be an anonymous source or another staff member. And as we scroll down on this DAC page, the next field is the brief description of the incident. And here you really do just need to keep it brief, just the main operative facts of what happened. You don't need to include staff names here because you've already put the person's name in the field above. And again, the person's name will be hopefully on the paperwork that you're uploading. So I prefer that you just keep it general here. My example is the test administrator gave a student another student's assigned test ticket, because that's a very common incident that we find. And so down below that, it lists the required documents for all incidents that are reported. Number one is the incident summary form or the test incident form. And this is very important for you to complete. And so either you as the district assessment coordinator can complete this document, or you can have the building assessment coordinator complete that. And so that's going to list the names of the involved staff, who was the test administrator, who was the back, other specific information that I need to make sure that I have straight, that could possibly be confused in some of the other documents. And so the test incident form is the first thing that I look at in the uploaded documents. So you might want to upload that first. The next important thing to include are the notarized statements. And you don't have to obtain a bunch of those in each case. You really need to only obtain the notarized statement from the staff person or persons that were responsible for the violation. For instance, in this case, if it were a wrong test ticket given to a student, you would definitely get a notarized statement from the test administrator that gave the student the wrong ticket. You might also want to get one from the building assessment coordinator or other staff who may have been witness to the incident. You don't need to obtain statements from students, even if students are involved in the allegation. Talk with me if you have questions, but in most cases, it would be more appropriate to do interviews of the students and then have staff provide notarized statements based on the content of those interviews. It's always important to include the testing schedule, the seating chart and room number, the proof of training, that the staff have been through the administration code training and the inclusion of special populations training if applicable, the appropriate assessment practices if it's a KSA test incident. The non-disclosure agreements are important to have and to keep on file in the district. You can upload those, but they're not absolutely necessary. And include the student's name and the SSID if it is an instance in which you feel that the student may have received an unfair test advantage. Otherwise, it's not necessary to include that information here. And then the last thing would be whether or not to upload the IEP, the PSP, or the 504 plan. And basically my rule of thumb is only if the test incident is specifically about an accommodation. For instance, if an accommodation was provided to a student who should not have received that accommodation, or if an accommodation was not provided to a student who should have received the accommodation, that's where you may want to upload the relevant pages from a student's IEP, 504 plan, or PSP. Otherwise, like in the example that we're looking at where it's just the wrong test ticket, even if it is an accommodated student, if the incident really has nothing to do with the accommodation itself, there's no need to upload the sensitive documents such as the IEP, PSP, or 504 plan. However, I just want you to know that it is safe to upload documents to Caveon Core with a certain caveat. I mean, it's a secure system, and so I want you to feel comfortable uploading the information that we're asking for here. But also keep in mind that you should never upload secure test materials, and that would include test tickets, seal codes, any other types of secure testing materials. Not because the Caveon system is not safe, but because the process of uploading would involve scanning or emailing those items, and that's prohibited in the administration code. You can file the testing incident report when you've gathered all of the information or when you've just gathered some of the information and documents, because you will have the option to save, and as long as it's still in district editing status, you'll be able to go back and add those documents. I may email you if I see only part of the documents, because I can't tell if you're finished or not finished from my vantage point. So please don't be offended if I send you an email asking about those. If you know that you're waiting on something when you file the incident report, you may just want to send me a quick email letting me know that, so I'm not emailing you asking you about certain documents, and then you can give me a heads up once the documents are uploaded. When you want to upload, you can just go to the screen and you'll be looking at the little navy blue circle with a white paper clip. You click on that and it'll let you upload the documents. The easiest way for both you and me to do this process is for you to just upload all of the documents as one file or one attachment. If you prefer to do it the other way, you can. However, my preference is just to keep it as few files or attachments as possible. And so it's perfectly acceptable for you to upload all of those required documents in one attachment. And also be sure to save once you're finished, because you don't want the incident to disappear. You want all of your information that you've included to be saved in the system. Just a brief recap. Please remember to answer all questions, provide correct information, complete and upload all required documents. And if at any time you encounter any issues or have questions during this process, or have questions about anything else relating to testing allegations, please feel free to email me at beth.bales@education.ky.gov, and I'll respond as soon as possible. There is no time limit for filing a testing allegation incident report in Caveon Core. So please don't panic if you're not able to file it the day that you become aware of the incident, or even during that week. But please do your best to file it as soon as you possibly can, whether it's the following week. But I would prefer that you not wait months to file an incident report, that you at least try to file it within a week or two of the incident's occurrence, because the longer you wait to file the incident report, the more difficult it will be to obtain the necessary information and documentation. And also remember to completely fill out all of the fields that it's asking for information on that DAC page of the incident report on Caveon Core. Also keep in mind that once the incident status is changed from district editing to KDE review, it will disappear from your dashboard and appear on mine only. So please don't panic if you have a disappearing incident report. Just send me a quick email to ask me if I received it. Because if instead of emailing me, you go ahead and resubmit it, that's just creating extra work for yourself and a duplicate allegation report for me. So I would much rather you just send me a quick email asking, hey, where is this incident report? And I can tell you, whether I received it or not. The only time that an incident report will disappear and not come to me is if you fail to save. So please always remember to save your work during the process. Here's my contact information if you have any questions about this process or anything else related to testing allegations. You can always email me at beth.bales@education.ky.gov, and I will respond as soon as possible. Alternatively, you can call me at 502-564-4474, extension 4804. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or need any support at all at any time related to testing allegations, please feel free to send me an email or give me a call. Thank you so much.